So COVID changed the landscape of funerals forever. Funerals fell out of fashion after COVID. When COVID happened, people like me were saying, this is dreadful. You were all saying it, weren't you? You were all at home saying, this is dreadful. What are we going to do? We can't bury our dead. And I was going to crematoria and I had bouncers on the door and I had people, maybe 6 people sat with masks on looking at me, and you could just see their tears coming down behind their masks. No one could touch each other. Many of you here and any of you watching will have had your own COVID death story. Everyone has one, everyone's heard one. And it was really at the time, everyone was saying, maybe at the end of all this, people will have celebrations for their people to make up for what they've lost. And it felt almost sacrilegious or some kind of violation of a moral code that you couldn't bury people and that you couldn't have a ceremony for them. Because when you think about it, you've got our heritage is hundreds and hundreds of years of burying people being something associated with dignity and with status. So if you had the tomb of the unknown soldier, that was a thing of great tragedy. And all the graves that are marked everywhere across let's say France, you've got all those amazing memorials. They're there because they are honouring the dead, and we all have a very strong sense of that in the UK, that we must bury our dead, we must honour our dead, we must remember them, name them, everyone should witness that life. So that was something that we all thought was entrenched in our culture, until COVID taught us that we don't have to do that anymore. So all the people that were saying it's terrible, we don't have to have, we can't have a funeral, that has turned into, isn't it brilliant? We don't have to do that anymore. We don't have to have funerals anymore. Let's not bother. And that is the key change and the shift in culture around funerals, with COVID particularly. But there's also another really, really strong factor, which is the economic situation that we're in, and funeral poverty and budgetary concerns.